Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks to everyone that commented and reached out to us after our first video. Lots of well wishes, prayers, positive comments. We so appreciate it.
We're novices at this.
We've also had some questions. I think the top question we are
Most
asked,
common question everybody said to us.
Yes, is just why? Why are you homeschooling? So we wanted to give 10 reasons why members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints might choose to homeschool. And a lot of this is from the National Home Education Research Institute.
They have a great research article that we're going to link. We're going to put the link in the show notes or the comments of this video. So if somebody wants to go research it and read the research, you can reach out to the researcher yourself.
Okay, so number one.
First one would be, number one, customize or individualize the curriculum and the learning environment for each child. So I think the good talking point here would be to help your children develop a love of learning. Instead of learning to take a test, that's kind of what the school system does. You know, they're trying to teach you how to take a test. And so if that's not a thing for you and you want them to love and learn to love learning, you need to be able to help them learn. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but if you know that they are weak in something.
And if they love learning, they'll never stop and they'll know how to fill in any gaps they have when they're older. Yeah. So we want them to be excited about learning new things.
Just be excited. I obviously didn't understand that one very well. So
okay.
You do number two.
Number two. Accomplish more academically than in schools. Homeschoolers can get more done in less time. They don't need to sit in a desk for 7 hours a day. A lot of classroom time is spent just, herding cats, getting everyone to be quiet and sit down or line up and go to lunch. And in our next video, we're going to talk about our schedule. I say that loosely because it's not like an hourly schedule or anything, and how we hope to get more done than public school in a fraction of the time and still leave us with extra time to spend together as a family.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. That'll be a great video to do. Number three is to enhance family relationships between children and parents and among siblings. So a lot of people choose to homeschool because they want more time with their children. And you hear, and I've seen so much of this lately as people have been posting back to school photos just saying, oh, they grew up so fast. Oh, that went by so fast. And while you're in that stage, it seems forever. But when we think to when they were babies, it seems like such a short time ago. And as members of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, we believe the whole purpose of our life is for families. We're part of the family of God, and we believe that the family is ordained of God, and everything is about our families and the relationships that we have here with each other on earth. And so this will give a lot of families who choose to homeschool more opportunity to spend time with children and parents and to develop that relationship.
And it makes it a priority.
Yeah.
Number four, use teaching styles other than those typical in institutional schools. There's a lot of different styles of teaching, Charlotte Mason, Montessori, and we're not sure which style we're going to fall under. This year, we just kind of picked a curriculum that's kind of open and go just to kind of see what everyone needs in the future, and we can adapt and change things. One style might work for one kid and one might not work for another. But in a classroom setting, you get the style that the teacher teaches for everyone in the class, and that might not work for someone. Maybe someone's a tactile learner, or maybe someone has to hear it or write it out again. And so,
or someone might need constructive feedback and others. So we're clearly not educators. We haven't been trained in education, but you don't have to be. And again, our next video will talk a lot about that. What number are we on? Number 5. Okay, number 5. Reason number 5 why somebody might homeschool is to provide guided and reasoned social interactions with youthful peers and adults. So the way schools are designed these days, you're essentially shoving everybody who's of a similar age into the same room. And all of those kids, since they're the same, roughly the same ages and maturity levels, the immaturity or the banter, the back and forth, just the conversations is exacerbating itself because they're all learning different behaviors and oftentimes bad behaviors from each other. And so that makes the problem worse.
Yeah. When in life are you ever grouped by age?
Yeah, everyone that I work with at work,
besides at school,
everyone's of different ages, and I think there's like a 30-year span.
It's good to.
So it's good for kids to learn to interact in a room with people who are older and younger than them, and certainly people who are on maybe similar levels or ages, or just with different characters and personalities. So it's really important to provide that. And we'll be talking about what we're going to be doing with that for socialization, using a co-op and there's other things that we can do to make sure they have that. So, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Number 6 is provide a safer environment for children and youth because of physical violence, drugs and alcohol, psychological abuse, racism, improper and unhealthy sexuality associated with institutional schools. And, there's a lot of that going on these days. That being said, in some homes and some families, school might be the best, safest place for those kids.
They may not have a safe.
They might not have a great home environment. And so school is really the best place for them, and schools serve a great purpose for certain students. But if your home is a really safe and loving environment, then most children will thrive.
Yep. Number 7. Reason why someone might homeschool. They're using as an alternative education approach when public or private schools are closed due to an acute health situation, such as related to diseases. So COVID-19, coronavirus, that is an example where if someone's has a unique health situation that they just can't be, or the system is closed down like we've experienced recently, that's another reason why someone would homeschool. So I think a lot of people were thrust into that.
Yes, and not all these reasons are our personal reasons, but we just thought we'd highlight the most common. Yep. So number 8, let me hold up 8 fingers. It's protect minority children from persecution in public schools or lower expectations of children of color, different religion, or set of beliefs.
So there's a lot of reasons. If you fall into one of those categories where you want to protect your children from those, and maybe there's other reasons too, that's usually a reason.
That seems to be a big reason that people do that. Yeah.
Yep. Number 9, teach and impart a particular set of values, beliefs, and worldview to children and youth. And this is a big one for us because we want to make sure that our kids are raised in the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that they can learn those and really understand them and develop them while their brains and their attitudes are developing. In fact, I was reading a book. I was telling my wife I was reading a book yesterday, or an audio book while I was driving to work, and it was about raising children, and that the most formative years are between age 11 and 16 that will set them up for success. And so it's really important to us to make sure that while they're learning and developing, that they are truly understanding and internalizing, and hopefully with the gospel of Jesus Christ, developing a strong testimony and relationship of Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ. and that they are children of God. And that's really important to us. And
stronger testimony. And
I think that if more kids understood that they are children of a loving Heavenly Father, that I think if they understood it more as teenagers, when they go out into the world as adults and will live the rest of their lives, I believe that they'll be a stronger force for good, not only in their own families and in their personal lives, but also in our communities and in our world.
Yeah.
So that's just our viewpoint there.
Okay, last reason, number 10, flexibility.
Yes.
Can we just get an amen? If you need to sleep in, sleep in. I don't think we're going to let our kids sleep in too late, but vacations, take them on the off season when no one else is there. You don't have to schedule your vacation around spring break, fall break. It's going to be amazing. Skiing,
because that's a big thing for us.
Look at all the snow.
It would be nice to go. It would be nice to go on a day, not on the weekends, in the middle of the week, when you don't have to wait in long lines. If a kid gets sick
days stressed me out when my kids were in public school. It was like I have to email the teacher and get all the work, and
they had to send it home and then
go back to sleep. Or maybe they're too sick to go to public school, but it's just a cough and they're fine to do work at home. They can do work.
Yeah.
Flexibility is like so awesome.
Yeah, there's lots of reasons for that. And again, to be able to go to different places, or just the flexibility. Even I think she'll find out during the day that some days there might not be a good vibe going on in the house, where like kids just need a break, and so we're going to get out and go on a hike or something like that, just to shake it up. So anyway, so those are our 10 reasons why somebody who's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints might homeschool. There might be other reasons. If there are other reasons, go ahead and make a comment below, and then maybe others can benefit from our collective wisdom here. Those are just the 10 from what was it called again? The National Home Education Research Institute, with a few more of ours. But you might have some of those reasons, and they might resonate with you, and then the others that that might.
Okay. And one question that we have gotten is, aren't you worried your kids will be behind?
Behind what? Behind who?
Right? Somewhere, somebody decided which subjects were to be taught at what age and which ones would be left out. And who decided that?
We didn't decide it. No one asked me to say, hey, what would you like your kids to learn and when would you like them? It seems that society and the community have decided that already before us even consulting us as parents. We do care to make sure that our children have a certain level of knowledge. And that's why we have paid for a curriculum and courses to make sure that our kids learn those, which is really important to us. But they get to learn those things at their own pace.
Yep.
And
by teaching them how to learn, if they have a gap later on when they're older, they can learn it.
Yes.
Just like we all do, right? We're constantly all learning things as adults. It's not like we graduate high school and suddenly know everything.
Yeah, the study has shown that a majority of Americans have a basic or below level of literacy proficiency. So schools aren't really doing a great job at keeping everyone above that proficiency standard that they have drawn, or the line that they have drawn and said, hey, we need to get people above this. The vast majority of them are below
proficiency level.
And so that's not really a great talking point for someone to say, are we worried that our kids are going to get behind? No, we're not worried. To give an example, I actually heard this a couple of weeks ago. So here locally in Utah, American Fork Junior High School, a parent posted the syllabus for a junior high class. I'm not sure which class, but this was obviously
this year.
This year in 2023, the 2023-24 school year season. And they showed the grading scale for the class. Usually it says A, 100% to 95, something like that. They had a D- at 25 to 29%, and an F was everything from 0 to 24%. Ever since COVID, lots of parents have noticed the lowering of standards. And I think anyone could graduate and go to Yale or Harvard at those with the dumbing down of the standards there. So schools are starting to lower standards in the public schools right here in Utah, and they haven't been doing a very good job at keeping a high level. So again, we're not too worried about our kids falling behind, because we will set the pace,
and we know we've got a good curriculum, and we're gonna
and we've been through it. We both have been through high school and college together, and we know what kids need to know, and that's nice, and we can help them find out what subjects and areas they want to explore as well. So that'll be fun and different.
So one studies, we will link them.
The same study. This is from the same study.
The same. Okay. It shows that the home educated typically score 15 to 25 percentile points above public school students on standardized academic achievement tests. 78% of peer-reviewed studies on academic achievement show homeschool students perform statistically significantly better than those in institutional schools.
That Dr. Ray, man, he's got some pretty long
statistically
significantly better than those in institutional schools. Homeschool students score above average on achievement tests regardless of their parents' level of education or their family's household income. So it doesn't matter what the parents' education level is, or even the income level of the family. As long as you have a parent who loves and cares about their children, that is the most important requirement to be a homeschooler.
Whether homeschool parents were ever certified teachers was also not found to be notably related to academic achievement.
Teachers are trained to educate the mass or a group of students. Homeschoolers are educating the one.
You can't get a better ratio than that.
No, I mean, our kids are going to get a 4-to-1, or sometimes
1-to-1.
Because they're going to, I mean,
one-on-one.
They're going to get 1-to-1 for a lot, but with you at home during the day, and then they'll get some of me in the mornings and evenings. You really just can't get better ratios than that. But you don't need a college degree in education or math or English.
You don't have to know all the math they'll learn. Find a tutor if you don't want to teach them math. What qualifies you as a parent and us as parents to teach our kids is we love them. We love them the most of anyone. And so we want what's best for them, and we will help them get there. We'll help them if we see struggling in one area. What's so great is we can be flexible and be like, this math curriculum is not working for you. I can see you don't like this style, so let's try a new one.
It's really unfair to compare teachers in schools with homeschoolers. They're just not comparable. And I think a big thing for us, and that many homeschoolers have found, as we have entered this world and we're trying to learn everything we can about it, is that we're not trying to replicate public school at home. In fact, a lot of homeschooling websites will say that if you do that, that's like the surest, most guaranteed way to fail and not have a good experience homeschooling, is to try and replicate the public school curriculum at home. So that's something we're trying not to do. Another thinking of the academic performance of homeschoolers is the degree of state control or regulation of homeschool is not related to academic achievement. Meaning, depending on which state or country or even which city, if here in Utah, Utah's a very friendly
some states have regulations where you have to test every year or submit portfolios.
Even the level of regulation from the governments, depending which state you're in, that doesn't even play a factor in how successful somebody is. You can still be really successful homeschooling, even if you're in a state that is more highly regulated to homeschoolers.
Home educated students also typically score above average on SAT and ACT tests that colleges consider for admission.
Yeah, more and more homeschooler students are increasingly being recruited by colleges, and some colleges require them to take the SAT or ACT, but it seems more and more that more and more colleges are not even requiring those scores anymore. And they find that homeschoolers are usually more
unique.
They have a different unique. They bring a diverse a diversity to their schools,
and they know how to learn.
They know how to learn, and they know how to stand up for what they believe in. So to kind of summarize that question that we got a few times from people this last week since our last video, are we worried that our kids will fall behind?
No.
No. They're going to get a better ratio, and for all the reasons we just talked about, we're confident we can teach our children, and because we love them and we want to teach them, and we feel that we can get them to where they need to be in life. We're starting out on this. We believe we can do it. And
we hope to provide them opportunities to learn and grow, and as long as they're progressing, as we can see progression, they'll be fine.
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
So again, hopefully those reasons were helpful for you. Like I say, if you have other reasons of why you would want to homeschool, go ahead and leave them in the comments, because I think that would help others. And maybe share your experience if you're a homeschooler currently. We'd love to hear your experience. So anything else you want to add?
No.
Great. Well, our next video, we plan on talking about which curriculum we have chosen, and kind of how
the day is gonna go. I think we might be in for a rude awakening.
And we reserve the right to change our mind at any time.
Yep. See you later.
See ya.